Welcome to Mental Game Mastery, where we dive into the world of sports psychology and peak performance, designed for you to level up your athletic career. Hey there, athletes. I'm your host, Coach P, bringing you mental performance insights and stories from being in the trenches of athletic coaching. As a mental performance coach, I get the privilege to work with all athletes across all sports. Today, we're continuing the discussion on energy management. So let's recap for a moment. I discussed how we have four energy tanks: physical, emotional, mental, and creative, and spiritual. If you haven't taken a listen, please do so. I'm going to start today with a focus on the physical energy bucket as it relates to your peak performance. Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or anyone striving for excellence, understanding and optimizing your physical energy is key to achieving your goals. So, for the sake of clarity, how do I define physical energy? Well, it's more than just feeling awake. It's the very foundation of all of our actions. It impacts our mental sharpness, emotional well being, and overall ability to perform. Our physical energy is influenced by various factors like sleep, nutrition, exercise, and rest. You're an athlete, so these areas should be a given. So let's take a high level overview of these four areas. Number one, sleep. It's not just the quantity, but the quality of sleep that matters. We'll discuss strategies to improve your sleep cycle and why it's essential for your recovery and performance. And number two, nutrition. What we eat fuels our bodies. So we'll dive into how different foods can either boost or drain your physical energy and how to create a nutrition plan that works for you. And number three, exercise. Regular physical activity is crucial. It enhances endurance, strength, overall health. We'll explore various forms of strength conditioning and how to find one that aligns with your athletic goals. And number four, rest and relaxation. Understanding the difference between activity and rest is key. We'll discover the importance of downtime and engaging in hobbies that rejuvenate you. So let's start with why sleep is so important. And who better to help us do that than retired Cornell professor James Maas? He authored the book, The Power of Sleep. And we're also going to look at why we sleep by former Harvard professor and current UC Berkeley professor Matthew Walker. Sleep falls under my fundy category of recovery. And as a coach, I'm a huge advocate of optimizing sleep for athletes, coaches, and also business professionals. My prioritizing sleep started with Dr. Moss's book, The Power of Sleep. And I became even more bullish about the power of sleep after reading Matthew Walker's Why We Sleep. So before we go further, ask yourself, how much sleep do I get each night during the week? Does it differ on the weekends? Do I fall asleep the minute my head hits the pillow? Do I need an alarm clock to wake me up? So let's slow down and actually answer those questions. Number one, how much sleep do you get each night during the week? Does it differ on the weekends? Yes or no? Do I fall asleep the minute my head hits the pillow? Yes or no? Do I need an alarm clock to wake me up? Yes or no? Alrighty, that's the quick assessment. How'd you do? Dr. Moss states that if you're getting less than 8 hours of sleep each night, including weekends, or if you fall asleep instantly or need an alarm clock to wake up, consider yourself one of the millions of chronically sleep deprived people. Perhaps maybe you're blissfully ignorant of how sleepy and ineffective you actually are, or how dynamic you could be with adequate sleep. I know for a fact, having coached Texas high school football for over a decade, sleep is not a priority for coaches. And most of the athletes think they're invincible. So they act as teenage boys and are definitely not getting adequate sleep. What are some signs you might be sleep deprived? Well, you're needing an alarm clock to get up in the morning. You struggle to get out of bed, feeling tired, irritable, and stressed during the day, having trouble concentrating and or remembering, falling asleep during film. There's a full assessment in Dr. Moss's book, The Power of Sleep. So keep this in mind. Most of us need at least one more hour of sleep every night than we actually get. The consequences of gradual yet continuous sleep deprivation might not be readily apparent at first glance, but over time, the sleepiness will begin to take its toll on your mood, your performance, and your health. Your education, your athletic career, and your family and social life will be affected. So, a quick check in for those of you who may think you can get by on less than the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep. The odds that you fall into the bucket of people who can truly thrive on less sleep, that's incredibly low. So, Dr. Walker tells us it is far, far more likely that you will be struck by lightning, the lifetime odds of being 1 in 12,000, than being truly capable of surviving on insufficient sleep. The odds of you being able to get away with less sleep are effectively zero. So, what are the consequences of chronically depriving ourselves of the sleep that we need? Well, sum it up in one word: devastating. And how so? Lack of sleep dramatically increases the odds of causing everything from mood disorders to cancer and all the deteriorating health crap we don't want. Dr. Walker also explains baseline resetting. So, athletes, coaches, business professionals, heads up. He says with chronic sleep restriction over months or years, an individual will actually acclimate to their impaired performance, lower alertness, and reduced energy levels. And that low level exhaustion becomes their accepted norm or baseline. Individuals fail to recognize how their perennial state of sleep efficiency has come to compromise their mental aptitude and physical vitality, including the slow accumulation of ill health. A link between the former and latter is rarely made in their mind. Based on studies of average sleep time, millions of individuals unwittingly spend years of their life in a suboptimal state of psychological, that's the mental game, and physiological functioning, never maximizing their potential of mind or body due to their blind persistence in sleeping too little. 60 years of scientific research prevents me from accepting anyone who tells me that he or she can get by on just 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night just fine. Wow. So here's where I give a possible unpopular opinion to coaches. If we emphasize peak performance for our athletes, why do we gloss over recovery, meaning sleep? If on a Friday night we have a football game that starts at 7:30, ends at 10 or later, we then dismiss athletes at 10:30 for home games. We want football players to be back up at the school as early as 9 on a Saturday. At least the staffs I've been on, we wanted players back up there at that time. And assuming the player doesn't eat, journal their post-game thoughts, or take a moment to wind down post-game, should they lay their head down at exactly midnight, they might still get less than 8 hours of sleep. And that's for home games. So I know as a coach, I routinely got 5 hours or less on game nights. Early in my coaching career, I didn't sleep at all on a Friday night because of post game film breakdown. So let's do the quick math. Let's just say the goal is 8 hours after a Friday night game, but the athlete gets 7. That's an hour a week for the entire season. So 10 hours. The trade off is a full night's sleep, and not to mention throwing off circadian rhythms. So, as we strive for peak athletic performance, the central idea is that we want to make our prior best our new baseline. Another key theme I want to hit on is to make the connection between how very simple micro lifestyle choices compound into very significant gains or losses over an extended period of time. What happens when we make our kind of sort of okay the accepted baseline? And then fail to make the connection between that extra 30, 60, 90 minutes of other choices we make instead of going to bed and the subtle or maybe not so subtle lack of energy that is felt the next day. Dr. Walker tells us way too many people aren't making the connection between their failure to hit a basic minimum of sleep and their now accepted suboptimal baseline. And he tells us you do not know how sleep deprived you are when you are sleep deprived. So, back to the question I started off with this episode with: are you getting the recommended 8 hours of sleep every night? If not, make the connection. Let's get curious to how many nights in a row you can commit to bumping your baseline up. See how great you can feel, think, and look, and prioritize a great night of sleep tonight. Now, let's get into the actionable strategies to create a sleep routine that works for you. Number one, create a consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on the weekends. This consistency reinforces your body's sleep wake cycle. Number two, create a relaxing bedtime routine. Engage in calming activities before bed, like reading, meditating, or taking a warm bath or warm shower. This helps signal to your body that it's time to wind down. 3, optimize your sleep environment. Your bedroom should be cool, dark, and quiet. Consider using blackout curtains, maybe an eye mask, earplugs, or a white noise machine. Number 4, monitor your diet. Avoid heavy meals, caffeine, alcohol close to bedtime. Instead, try a light snack or a calming tea if you need something before bed. 5, limit the screen time. Reduce exposure to screens at least an hour before bed. The blue light emitted by phones, tablets, and computers can disrupt your sleep cycle. Number 6, exercise regularly. Regular strength and conditioning can promote better sleep, but try not to do your routine, your training too close to bedtime. Number 7, manage the stress. Practice stress reducing techniques like journaling or deep breathing exercises to improve sleep quality. You see, there's no one size fits all sleep routine. You need to find what's best for you. So listen to your body and adjust these steps to fit you. And as I wrap up today's episode on unlocking your physical energy regarding sleep, I'll leave you with a final thought from Dr. Walker. Within the span of a mere 100 years, and that's the invention of the light bulb, human beings have abandoned their biologically mandated need for adequate sleep, one that was thousands of years in the making. And as a result, the decimation of sleep throughout industrialized nations is having a catastrophic impact on our health, our life expectancy, our safety, our productivity, and the education of our children. Remember, filling this aspect of your physical energy bucket is an important step towards mastering your mental game. So join me next time as we take a look at the nutritional aspect of our physical energy. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your teammates and other athletes who could use these strategies, and please subscribe as we continue to grow mental game mastery. I would love for you to share your own tips for your sleep schedule in the comments. And until next time, stay energized, embrace the journey, and remember the time is now.